My name is Lilianah Ahmed. I am the oldest sister of Mason Schermerhorn.
And you can go ahead and tell the court what you would like him to know in regards to the sentencing of Colt Gray.
September 24th, 2024 is the day that altered my life in more days than I can think possible. That day is unfortunately a day that is branded into my brain. It was a Wednesday. I was at work. It was a normal day. Started off good even. At 11:25 a.m., I got a text message from one of my close friends asking if I heard about the school shooting at Apalachee. I instantly thought this was a joke or a false alarm. Nothing like this is supposed to happen in Winder. I graduated from Apalachee when the school body was barely 1,200 kids. We always poked fun about how boring and rural our school was. There was no way this could be real. My first instinct was to call my mom. I thought surely if Mason was scared, he already called my mom and told her he was fine. Of course, it's no surprise to you that Mason was not okay. I lost it. I had my first ever panic attack. I stayed at work fighting the thought that my brother was dead. There's no way that this could happen to me. By 2 p.m., there was still no update on Mason. No one could find him. I felt hopeless, so I posted a picture on social media begging people to message me if they saw him. He used to run away when he got really emotionally overwhelmed. And I was praying that this was still true in this instance. Praying that he was scared and hiding somewhere. From my car, I frantically called every single emergency room in Atlanta, Gwinnett, Barrow, and Clark Oconee counties to see if anyone had a John Doe that fit his description. No success. At this point, I was at home because I was holding out hope that Mason was okay. My mom even asked me, when we find Mason, can we have a sleepover? Mason had to be okay. I will never forget the exact moment I found out Mason was dead. The exact moment that I found out you killed him. The hour-long drive to Winder was the quietest car ride I have ever had with my husband. The only thing I could manage to mutter was my baby brother, over and over again, like my brain was rejecting the thought of him being gone. We arrived at my parents' house, a place that used to hold nothing more than laughs, happy memories, and petty sibling arguments. Turned into a place that sends my nervous system into absolute disarray. From that point to about 6 months following, everything is a blur. As you can imagine, I have had a lot of time to reflect on how the past 688 days have impacted my life. Since I was 7, almost 8 years old, a large part of my identity has been being a big sister. I am the oldest of 4, and there's a significant age gap between me and my siblings. Being the oldest sibling and oldest daughter has shaped me in more ways than I can express, especially being a big sister to siblings with special needs. One of the ways that has shaped me has been my ability to look beyond a person's behaviors and search for the why. There's always so much more to a person's actions besides what we see at face value. This ability has led me to be naturally forgiving and compassionate. I've even dedicated my professional career to this ability my siblings have fostered in me. Whenever I come across a child that is met with any circumstance out of their control, whether it be a diagnosis or environment, I can't help but feel compassion. Admittedly, I feel compassion for Colt, and I hate that. He is a product of 2 people that did not deserve the privilege of bringing life into this world. His actions are a testament to that. He's broken. He made so many cries for help that were met with little to no action. He grew up around so much turmoil. He saw and experienced things that no child should even be able to imagine. He could have rebounded from all that. Instead, he decided to allow my baby brother to pay for the pain others caused him. He still had the ability to be resilient, but he chose to doom himself. He is ultimately a failure. Despite the little bit of compassion I do feel for him, being in the same room as him disgusts me. I know much is not known about Mason, so I would like to take some time to tell you all about him. Mason is a success story that Colt could have been. He struggled a lot in school. He had big emotions that he didn't know how to regulate. He was bullied. He had a cocktail of mental diagnoses from a young age. He had the ability to turn into Colt, but he didn't. He even spent the summer before his freshman year of high school being tutored through algebra because he was that determined to succeed. Teachers and students across all the schools Mason went to talk about how big of a heart he has, how he is so sweet, the kind of sweetness you don't expect from a 14-year-old boy. He spent most of his school years in more contained classrooms, but he had friends in special education and general education classes. He didn't care what someone looked like, what disability they did or didn't have. He was going to be friends with them, and he could have been he was friend to so many, and he could have been friend to one more had Colt not robbed himself of that. Mason would have loved him. My mom would have taken him in. My family's house could have been a haven for him, but he robbed himself of that. Not only did he rob himself of Mason, or rob himself of that experience, but he also robbed Mason. From a very young age, Mason wanted to be a family man. He wanted to have a wife, kids. He wanted to go to school and pursue a career. He even asked questions about God. All of these different parts of himself he didn't get to explore because of Colt, because of his pain. Because of him, my little brother Gavin has to grow up without his best friend. Because of him, my little sister Lilianah has to grow up without her best friend. Because of him, my mom has to live with 1/4 of her missing. Because of him, I have to live without the little boy that gave me so much purpose from such a young age. Because of him, laughing or having a good day feels like betrayal, because I feel like I shouldn't experience those things with my brother gone. Because of him, I get a pit in my stomach anytime I look at pictures of Mason. Because I know that's the only way I can see him now. And because of him, large crowds and gatherings make me anxious. Because of him, I'm forced to write in a journal when I want to talk to Mason because I don't want to miss any details for when I see him again. Because of him, my brother died alone and scared. He was the last person to see Mason alive, and you took him from us. All of this because people hurt him, and he felt like others needed to atone for it. All for what? Just to become another statistic. He has quite literally reduced his life to his failures and shortcomings. He could have made something of himself. He could have had a friend in Mason to lift him up. Instead, he made himself nothing more than another data point. I hope he lives with that for the rest of his life. I hope he remembers that he is insignificant. Despite him stealing the lives and innocence of so many people, their endings and this pain he caused will not define them. They will define him, however, and he will be forgotten. I hope he remembers that he did this to himself. I hope he remembers that any regret or remorse he feels is a privilege compared to the death sentence he gave my brother. I don't care what his sentence is, and I don't care what happens to him. It won't measure up to the sentence he gave my family. He stole my baby brother from me, and I don't forgive him. I hope the rest of his days are filled with remembering just how much of a waste he is.